Hello, welcome to LMU Community TV News. I'm Ashley Hurley. Thank you for joining us. The Tennessee Highway Patrol is mourning the loss of one of its own. Sergeant Joshua Mabe died in an accident Saturday morning while working on his family farm in Sneedville. According to the Tennessee Highway Patrol spokesperson, Lieutenant Bill Miller, Mabe was using a tractor to bale hay and was working on the front end loader when it dropped and hit him. Mabe died from his injuries. Mabe was a 10-year veteran of the Tennessee Highway Patrol and was selected to join the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security Training Center as a state trooper cadet in 2005. When he graduated, he began work as a state trooper in the THP Fall Branch District. The Tennessee Highway Patrol promoted Mabe to sergeant over Granger County in this past February. His promotion, though, was celebrated last Thursday. Mabe is survived by his wife, Victoria, their 5-year-old daughter, Adeline, his parents, Kenneth and Velma Mabe, and his sister, Leslie Mabe. Funeral arrangements were Monday from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock at the new Hancock County High School. The funeral was held Tuesday at Cool Branch Missionary Baptist Church. This is a terrible loss for the Highway Patrol, with Sergeant Mabe, who will be greatly missed terribly by each officer and deputy that he worked with. The man accused in last week's deadly Speedwell shooting is now facing additional charges. 58-year-old Roy Michael Ford allegedly shot 44-year-old Billy Scott Brogan in an altercation last Saturday night. Brogan later died as a result of the gunshot wound. Ford was being held in the Claiborne County Jail on the charge of criminal homicide when he was transported to the Claiborne Medical Center for chest pains. According to officer reports, when Ford arrived at the emergency room, he began to be combative with nurses and doctors. Officers were called in to assist the correction officer who had transported him. When the officers arrived, Ford was being abusive and at one point attempted to take an officer's weapon. He was immediately placed back into handcuffs and taken back to the jail. When Ford appeared before Judge Robert Estep, the judge gave him a bond of $1 million. He remains in the Claiborne County Jail, where he is additionally charged with assault on top of the criminal homicide charge. Now, the investigation into the altercation that led to the shooting is still ongoing by the Claiborne County Sheriff's Office.
LMU is a nonprofit organization. We were founded by Stan Brock in 1985. We have today, when we finish this, will be 762 clinics. It's totally free. All of our core volunteers are free here this weekend. They volunteer their services, and all of our recruits in the vision, dental, and general health area are recruited, and they are offering their free time for the entire weekend. In dental, we offer fillings, cleanings, and extractions. In vision, we have a full eye exam, check for eye disease, and also bring our mobile eye lab that we were able to make 360 pair of glasses per weekend. Our vision is to stop the suffering. RAM was founded, as I said, by Stan Brock a few years ago. That he was working on a cattle ranch down in Guyana in South America, and he had a horrible accident, and the closest doctor was 26 days by foot through the rainforest. And that is, while Mr. Brockwood tells the story, he says while he was lying under the horse, he vowed to bring health care to those and less fortunate. At that time, it was the third world countries, but today it's in our back door here in the Appalachian area. The experience is something that's unbelievable. We get a person will come in and they'll volunteer, but maybe they're volunteering for half a day. But you know, the half a day doesn't happen. Once you're bit by the ram bug, you're here, you know, such as myself, I've been here quite a few years by the ram bug. We got new volunteers coming on, and we wish we had more, but we're recruiting new volunteers every day. Once you get the experience of seeing the folks as they get a new pair of glasses and they're walking out the door, you know, and they're stepping really high because they can see, or once they put their glasses on at the dispensing and then they say, oh, and the expiration on their face is unbelievable. They're standing in line, and I meet everybody coming through the door at the registration area, and you see them there. They're kind of down in the dumps, down in the slump, and once they go through the dental area and they get that aggravated tooth removed, they're, you know, it's unbelievable. Even thanking you with their gauze stuffed in their cheeks, and they're trying to speak, you know, thank you, or they're shaking your hand. It is something that it brings tears to your eyes.
You just heard from RAM Clinic Manager Ron Brewer. The remote area medical took place here on the campus of Lincoln Memorial University this past weekend and had terrific numbers to report. The total financial amount of services provided was $278,528. The number of total patients was 471. The total patients' contacts, which means that they received more than one service, dental, vision, or medical, and that number was 1,057. The total number of tooth extractions was 680, and the total number of oral surgeries was 115, and the total number of eyeglasses made was 293. Now, RAM visits LMU when their schedule allows, but if you would like more information about RAM, you can go to www.ramusa.org. When headed outdoors to enjoy the summer weather, don't forget your sunscreen. To explain sun safety and talk about sun exposure, here is Dr. Nicole Shields.
Is one of the most important things that you can do as far as sun safety, preventing sunburn, and ultimately skin cancer and sun damage. Sun damage results in wrinkles and all kinds of atrocities that women spend and people spend lots of money on. The biggest thing that you can do for yourself is apply sunscreen. Sunscreen, especially on children. Sunburns under the age of 18, if you have more than 5 severe sunburns, put you at extraordinarily great risk for different kinds of skin cancers later in life. So sunscreen is one. Studies have found that most people don't use enough sunscreen. It's because they just use a little dab because it's so expensive and they want to just rub it on the parts that are showing the sun. But actually you need to use a whole bunch of sunscreen everywhere on your body, particularly your face, your ears, chest, and the top of your legs and your shoulders. So that's one. Use lots of sunscreen and often reapply, especially after you go in the water, especially after you exercise. Even if you're just like, well, I can't remember when the last time I reapplied sunscreen, just go ahead and reapply. There are all kinds of different sunscreens now too, not just creams and lotions. A lot of people don't like that sticky feeling. If you're at the beach, all the sand sticks to you. There are sticks, there are creams, there are lotions. They even have the sprays now. If you are just opposed to sunscreen in general, they have new SPF shirts, like rash guards, long sleeve rash guards. Still need a sunscreen on your hands and your face, but hats, sunglasses have UV protection. Umbrellas, there's all kinds of things that you can use to prevent sunburns.
The CDC reports instances of melanoma, the variety of skin cancer that's potentially fatal, have doubled over the past 3 decades. It now occurs at a rate of roughly 23 cases per every 100,000 people and is responsible for approximately 9,000 deaths in the U.S. every year. The collective cost of treatment is estimated to be about $460 million. It is anticipated that the number of cases will continue to increase as well as the price of tending to them. By 2030, the treatment tally could be at an upwards of $1.6 billion. Now, next week on LMU Community TV, we will be bringing you a second installment on sun safety with Dr. Shields. Now, coming up after the break, there is a new donut shop that is offering some very sweet treats to the community. To hear their story and find out the location, stay tuned.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
every day across America. Excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
If you were looking to satisfy your sweet tooth or grab a fresh donut with some fresh coffee, there is a new shop that you need to visit. Sweet as Honey Donut Shop opened last Friday on National Donut Day, and their sweet supplies are sure to satisfy your cravings.
Now we are in the gift store of Sweet as Honey. Over next to us on the left is the donut shop, and to the right you have Backwoods Paving and Snazzle Dazzle's embroidery store's main office and our U-Haul office as well. Okay. My dad always wanted a donut shop. For as long as I could remember, he wanted a donut shop. And for the last 5 years, he said, I'm going to open a donut shop. This year he opened up a donut shop. So we came up with a few different dough recipes. My mother's stepdad, Frank, is the reason we started one certain dough. He used to make it, and now they've copied the recipe. My aunt finally got it the same way, and that's where they put their signature honey glaze and honey in the dough as well. We offer what we're calling 3 doughs right now. We have our signature Frank dough, which is what contains our honey, and then we also have a regular donut that we just glaze, and then we offer filled donuts with all your regular fillings like lemon, strawberry, raspberry. Okay. Right now we're offering, if you are firemen, police, EMS, EMT, or nurses, you can come in, and when you come to get your donut, we'll give you a free cup of coffee. We open at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we're here until we sell out. So what I tell everyone is try to be here before 10, because noon you might not have anything.
You can find Sweet as Honey on Facebook, or you can stop by their location in Dogwood Heights that is located next to Vive Broadband Services in the shopping center. Now be sure to keep a check on our Facebook page for a date and time of our radio remote that will be broadcasting live from Sweet as Honey. A petition was launched in April in Middlesboro to put the moist vote on their ballot, but due to an error, the petition will be voided and the process will start all over again. The petition met substantial compliance, but had cited the Kentucky revised statute. That statute was changed and was not the correct one. 933 signatures were gathered for this ballot. The second ballot requires 775 citizens, and they must all be registered voters within the city limits. Everyone who signed the first petition will be receiving a letter with a new petition to sign and a prepaid return envelope and asked to sign again. The letter states to have the new petition returned by no later than June 19th. Now, for more information on the petition, it can be found on Facebook at Middlesboro Petition Drive. Now we are going to turn to a segment that is brought to you by the Veterinary Technology Program right here on the campus of Lincoln Memorial University.
I'm Michelle Henderson, and I'm a veterinary medical technology student.
I'm Misty Collins, and I'm a veterinary health science student. Paws and Stripes is a nonprofit organization that provides service dogs for wounded military veterans with PTSD and traumatic brain injury through integrating service dog training and education with mental health support. Their dogs only come from local rescues, and their service dog trainers teach the dogs and the veterans as a team. The usual cost associated with getting a service dog ranges from $10,000 to $30,000 and sometimes up to $60,000. The cost to complete training for a Paws and Stripes veteran dog service team is funded by Paws and Stripes through generous grants and donations. The veterans are never obligated to pay for successfully completing the program.
They choose their own dogs from a pre-screened group of shelter dogs with the help of professional dog trainers. They are involved with every aspect of the program by facilitating healing, building of self-confidence, increasing their bond with the dogs, and developing tools to maintain training after graduation. Paws and Stripes strongly believes in saving lives 2 at a time by reducing the number of veterans suffering from these conditions and the number of adoptable animals euthanized.
Stay tuned next week for another segment from the Veterinary Technology Program. We start with local sports, but I'm very excited for what is coming up in sports, the history that was made over the weekend, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. That's why we have Adam Haley.
We did have history in the making. However, we will start in LMU athletics, where a couple of weeks ago, the athletic department held a fundraising golf outing at Wasiota Winds Golf Course in Pineville, Kentucky. Our Thomas Miracle caught up with outgoing athletic director Roger Vanoy about the event.
Community TV. I'm here with Roger Vanoy, Director of Athletics, and they're at Wasiota Winds. Can you tell me a little bit about the events going on today, Roger?
Well, sure. We're in the middle of conducting our annual athletic golf outing, which is something that we've done now for probably a dozen years, maybe 10 to 12 years, and it's an annual fundraiser that we all pitch in, and the proceeds will go towards something that benefits the entire athletic department.
Can you tell me how many teams are playing here today?
We had 31 teams this year, which is one of the larger turnouts that we've had. I think we may have been over 30 twice before, so this is the largest turnout, at least in the last 5 years. So we're very pleased with the turnout today.
Okay. Now, as far as the money, who does that benefit?
Well, the department again pitches in for this thing, and we this year have decided that we will take this money, the proceeds today, and put that into investing and expanding the athletic weight room. In the past, we have bought buses and things of that nature, as well as other projects in the weight room. So it's something that we do above and beyond the budgeting process at LMU.
Now, every once in a while, you get to witness or be a part of a magical moment in sports, whether your favorite team winning a national title or a world championship. Sometimes the magic can be an event that tugs at your emotions, like New York winning the National League in 1951 with the voice of Russ Hodges yelling, "The Giants win the pennant, the Giants win the pennant." Or in 1980 when the U.S. hockey team defeated the USSR and hearing Al Michaels counting down the seconds and asking, "Do you believe in miracles?" This past weekend, another magical sports moment happened. And just in case you missed it or just want to relive that moment, here it is.
Has moved up into second, and they're into the stretch, and American Pharoah makes his run for glory as they come into the final furlong. Frosted is second with 1/8 of a mile to go. American Pharoah's got a 2-length lead. Frosted is all out at the 16th pole, and here it is. The 37-year wait is over. American Pharoah is finally the one. American Pharoah has won the Triple Crown.
Yes, American Pharoah won the Belmont Stakes over the weekend to clinch the first Triple Crown since a firm did it in 1978. He also became the 14th horse in history to do so. For trainer Bob Baffert, it was his 4th attempt at the title and jockey Victor Espinosa's 3rd attempt, which is a record attempt at the Triple Crown. And if I may take just a few seconds for my own editorial opinion, I would like to thank American Pharoah for doing something that I never would have thought I would see in my lifetime, and giving me the memory of watching this historic run that will stick with me forever. The Tennessee Smokies will start this week at home, and as they will finish up their series with the Birmingham Barons. The first pitch on Monday and Tuesday will be at 7:05 p.m., and the game on Wednesday will start at noon. The Smokies will then hit the road to start a 5-game series with the Jacksonville Suns on Thursday that will last until Monday, June 15th. To keep up with the Smokies, go to smokiesbaseball.com. Last week, we had our second LMU Community TV Summer Blockbuster Movie Bracket, and this week is part 3, but you'll have to wait until after this break to see that sneak peek.
Being out of the military, I was missing this camaraderie.
It's frustrating when you try and talk to people that don't understand.
I would be talking, but I wasn't there with them. You just feel so alone.
I still had the anger, I still had the addictions, but we didn't talk about that.
Came to a point where it's like, okay, I really need to talk to somebody about this.
Family more or less encouraged me, go to the VA, you're a veteran, see what they can do to help you.
When you have
family, friends. When you have the facilities like the VA and the vet center, it gives me, it gives others encouragement to keep moving forward.
It's okay to go get help. It's okay to talk to people, because it takes true strength to ask for help.
Talking with other veterans was the best method for learning the roadmap to success.
Hear veterans' real stories of strength and recovery at maketheconnection.net.
Heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Cinderella found the pet that fits her perfectly. Tiana gave her pet the royal treatment. Belle found beauty where no one else did. And you can too. Share your heart. Share your love. Bring home your forever friend. Make a shelter pet part of your world. Happily Ever After begins at theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back. This week, we continue our LMU Community TV Summer Blockbuster Bracket with a round of 32. Here is a sneak peek of what movies our panel moved on to the next round. Terminator 2 versus Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan.
Wow. What was the first one?
Terminator 2 versus Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan.
You did this to Chad.
Yes. Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan.
Why?
Done. Because it's just way better. Star Trek.
Because it's the best.
It's a Star Trek film, and it's the best Star Trek film.
I'm very conflicted about this because it is the best Star Trek film, but we've also got it up against the best Terminator film. Not saying
Doesn't matter,
but still.
I still can't believe we were torn on Forrest Gump and The Lion King. That's broke my heart.
I can't believe The Lion King didn't win. That's why I'm still mad about
I
that.
know, and Mulan is still in.
I know.
Mulan beat The Lion
Do
King.
justice to that. I'm even down for that. Lion King over Mulan every day.
I'm Terminator all the way on this one.
I'm gonna go Terminator also.
Oh my god.
So we have 2 Terminators, we have a Star Trek.
Star Trek.
So it's me?
It's up to you. 2 Terminators and 2 Star Treks. 2 Spocks, 2 Arnolds.
Chad, I have been and always shall be your friend, but Terminator 2.
I quit.
Mulan versus Point Break.
No.
Granted,
No.
in Mulan, she never points her gun in the air and goes, ah, but it's still Mulan.
Mulan all the way.
Mulan.
You got to be kidding me.
Okay, so we have 2 for Mulan. Okay.
Yes.
Start down there.
Mulan.
Oh my god, are you serious? I wish they'd never make that movie.
Mulan is
Look at the track that Mulan has had to go down though. It's had the easiest road. I mean, honestly. Put it up. It started out against Spider-Man 2, a mediocre film. I mean, it's okay.
Come on.
Then what was it? Finding Nemo, the hardest one yet, and then Point Break.
If I was here the first day, I wouldn't be here. I love the movie, don't get me wrong.
I have to text Lily and tell her that.
Lion King versus... The entire video can be seen on our Facebook page, facebook.com/LMUTV. Next week, we'll see the Sweet 16 and find out what 8 movies our panel has deemed to be elite. And now, with a look at what topped the box office last weekend, here's Joseph Lewis.
Hello, I'm Joseph Lewis, bringing you all the latest information in the world of movies. Tops of the box office this weekend were led by the espionage comedy Spy, opening to $30 million thanks to great reviews and positive word of mouth. Following at number 2 was last week's winner, San Andreas, adding another $26 million to its now $92 million domestic gross. And rounding out the top 3 was another newcomer, the horror prequel Insidious Chapter 3, with $23 million. Meanwhile, the Entourage movie trailed behind at number 4 with a relatively low $10 million starting figure, And the John Cusack starring Brian Wilson biopic Love and Mercy pulled a solid $2.2 million in its limited release. Coming to theaters this weekend is Jurassic World, the new entry into the sci-fi adventure franchise which has been inactive for the nearly 15 years since Jurassic Park 3. This new film allegedly ignores the events of the second and third films and picks up exactly 22 years after the first installment, centering around a fully functional dinosaur theme park located on Isla Nublar that naturally experiences a bit of prehistoric chaos when man attempts to meddle with nature. The film is directed by Safety Not Guaranteed's Colin Trevorrow and stars Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Vincent D'Onofrio. With an eye-popping, action-packed trailer that reverently incorporates score from Spielberg's original, this film features all the hallmarks of being a worthy sequel to an indisputable genre classic. Jurassic World opens nationwide this Friday, June 12th. Also opening this weekend in limited release is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, winner of both the Grand Jury Prize and the Audience Award at this year's Sundance Film Festival. A low-key coming-of-age dramedy from independent director Alfonso Gomez-Rejon, the film focuses on two high school buddies and low-budget filmmakers who form a friendship with an esoterically minded girl who also happens to have leukemia. Inspired by her, they set out to make a film to honor her memory. Bigger names such as John Bernthal, Molly Shannon, and Nick Offerman round out the supporting cast, and between an appealing trailer and universal acclaim, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl is set to become a sleeper hit for this summer. Once again, it can be seen in limited release starting this Friday, June 12th, and will be expanding its release over the coming weeks. In review this week is Tomorrowland, Brad Bird's latest sci-fi fantasy in which a mysterious interdimensional pendant brings Britt Robertson's curious teen together with George Clooney's mysterious inventor in order to potentially save their collapsing universe. While the film has a perfect hook on paper, the actual experience is far less thrilling. It takes nearly an hour for the two central characters to meet, and during that time the movie spins its wheels with random events that hint at a grander mythology, but never actually go anywhere. It picks up a bit once Robertson and Clooney embark upon their mission, but many of its ensuing high points have already been spoiled by the film's marketing, and the third act conflict it builds to is more head-scratching than exciting. Clooney gives a reliably solid performance, and Robertson brings a lot of energy to her underdeveloped character, but on the whole, Tomorrowland is lackluster as a science fiction story and only slightly better as an action movie, with director Bird's vision brought to life by an overly active camera and an annoying amount of CGI. Mark this one down as a major disappointment. Less disappointing but similarly underwhelming is Poltergeist, Gil Kenan's remake of the 1982 horror classic, in which Sam Rockwell and Rosemary DeWitt star as a married couple who inadvertently move themselves and their children into a haunted house. After a series of events that put their kids' lives at risk, Jane Addams and Jared Harris get involved as a couple of fledgling paranormal investigators with a rocky romantic past. The setup is nothing audiences haven't seen already a million times, which wouldn't necessarily be a problem considering how magnetic this cast is, but even by the standards of horror remakes, Poltergeist is toothless, largely lacking in effective scares or suspense. Director Kenan tries his best to build a sense of tension and atmosphere, but the final cut is too fast-paced for his efforts to land, and any gruesome fun that could be had is held back by the film's PG-13 rating and, for the second time this week, its overdependence upon CGI. Sadly, in a world where Tobe Hooper's fun, spooky original film is readily available, this new Poltergeist is entirely skippable. That's all for this week in the world of movies. I'm Joseph Lewis.
That's it for this week's LMU Community TV News.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Adam Haley.
For everyone behind the scenes, I'm Ashley Hurley. We'll see you next week.